Whose table do you get to eat from? I was thinking that today when I was grinding flour for my bread today. I was reading the Proverbs last night, and it says, wisdom has slain the meat, it has baked the bread, and it says, come drink of my wine and eat of my bread and eat the food that I have prepared for you. That's in the book of Proverbs. It's like 5, 6, or 7, somewhere in there. You can look it up. It wouldn't hurt you to read the whole thing. There's another writings. It's actually in the writings, in the what people call the Old Testament, what the Jews call the Tanakh. And God chides Israel because you say that the table of the Lord is contemptible. I was talking with a chef. This guy had been a chef for like 30 or 40 years. And I asked him what was the food that he liked to cook the most. And he looked at me and says, whatever you like to eat the most. I like to cook your favorite food. And I'm thinking, that's cool. He wants to make the food that makes me happy. Which reminds me of another proverb I was thinking about this morning that says, better is a little food where love is than a house full of feasting with strife. Now, if you want to get into the science of that, the BBC has this special on stress being a killer. And it shows all of the things that stress does to your body, to your heart, to your mind, that damages you and damages your health. So that proverb is scientifically correct. It would be better to have a little food that your body can digest and that you would be well than to have all this food but have all this stress. Because the stress will kill you. The stress will mess you up and the food won't compensate for it. But if you have no stress and you have some food, they've proven it. It doesn't hurt to have just a little food. You don't always have to be filled. The body actually benefits from fasting or having no food. So better is a little food where love is than a house full of feasting with strife. I was thinking about that when I was picking mulberries this morning, and I got 17, 18 containers like this. These are the dark ones. They're more tasty. They got more sugar in them. These are they're white and red, so they're kind of pinkish, most of them. Got quite a few of those. And then there's also a white mulberry tree. They all taste a little different, but they're all mulberries, and it's mulberry season. Oh, here's some more of the dark ones. Those were big too, if you can see them. I don't want to spread them out because it'll stain my hands. And I actually wore gloves, so I was prepared. But talk about eating your food in due season, and Jesus, whose Hebrew name would be Yeshua, which should be translated Joshua, but somebody decided to translate it another way. So Yeshua said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about food. Don't worry about clothes. You see my heavenly Father, he feeds the birds. He dresses the plants. Don't worry about it. So I go out and I forage in the morning before everybody else gets up. And I get all this free food. It's the table that nature, or God through nature, provides for me. And mulberries are like $7, $8 a pound, so I've got a whole bunch. But there was no strife involved. I mean, it's really peaceful early in the morning. And the mama duck brought her ducklings up there to eat mulberries. So yeah, indeed, God does provide for the birds. And then they wander off into the pond and they swim away. So all the Bible is correct. Everything that I tied in here that I've seen and experienced this morning, certainly. I've been provided for. Got at least 18 of these things. Now I have to wash them. And I put down a tarp. And then I tap the trees a little bit with this long pole that I have, so I'm not picking up the ones that are on the ground where the doggies and the people pass by or pee or poop. There is one tree that's off in the grass where there's less people, and I do pick up some of those, but I wash those too. You know, gotta be safe. You know, wash your food. I mean, that's wise, right? Because you don't want all the various things that could go on in your food. So we eat from the right table, and you know, be thankful. I mean, I found Indian strawberries too. And these are actually, you know, the size of a gumdrop. And those are supposed to be really good for your skin too. And I know where the raspberries at, and the walnut trees, and a whole bunch of greens. And that's the table of the Lord. That's what Yeshua said our Heavenly Father would provide for us. And He does. And they're really tasty. And I was born a redhead. And if you could see the beard, there's still some red in it. I used to burn horribly, especially when I was a child. As I got older, it wasn't quite so bad because the diet changed. And in these last 3-4 years of foraging, I don't take vitamins anymore. I get all my vitamins from plants and berries and some fish and some meat that I buy. But I only buy the organic stuff. But there's all this free food out there. And I had asked the chef, well, do you take special care to cook organic food and stuff like this? People can't afford organic. It's too expensive. He goes, it'd be nice if I could cook that for people, but it's just way too expensive for people. So, you know, I go with the normal and typical food that people eat. Which came to mind if we would actually eat what nature provides. If we would actually go back to doing some of the things that the people who founded or first came here, as far as Europeans go, and even the natives that got here, the ones that we call native, they had to come here at some time. And if you follow the biblical point of view, they all came off the same boat, and they had to spread out over the earth. So everybody came here to America at some time. It's just, when did you get here? And they were all fishing and foraging. Some of them were planting crops. And in researching, watching shows about that, I'm always amazed at some of the health that they actually had. You know, despite the fact they were killing one another. You know, they dig up the bones and stuff like that. These people were relatively healthy. One tribe they dug up, I think it was the Hurons, says, wow, these people got really good teeth. They're eating a lot of corn. They found. So yeah, you can farm, you can fish, you can forage. Nature provides. God provides. That's how the U.S. got started. There's all this free food. All this free lumber for housing. It was a great land. Filled with trees, berries, roots, animals, except, you know, Europeans brought their problems here, their diseases, and they killed the natives and didn't necessarily want to eat from what nature had at hand. Or if they did, they were just gluttons. They slaughter all the ducks. No more. Well, there's no more of a lot of ducks. Well, there's no more passenger pigeons either. So if you're going to eat from the table of the Lord, don't be a glutton. So that was my morning foraging. Now I have to clean and preserve the mulberries. Enjoy.